Hello everyone, we'll dry today in the Quad Cities, but tomorrow it's looking like another wintry mess. Let's start with the good news first though, and that's the dry conditions today. Although today is not going to be a very pretty day, it is looking like a cloudy day, and it's not going to be as warm as yesterday. But really not terrible for this time of year. You know, normal high temperatures are in the low 40s, and I actually think most of us are going to reach the mid 40s, maybe staying in the low 40s in the northwestern part of the area. And the other good thing today, even though it's going to be colder today than yesterday, there is not going to be much wind during the day today. Winds no more than 10 miles per hour, so no wind chill factor to worry about. And I actually think the evening hours are going to be dry as well. I don't see the precipitation starting to push in here until about 2 a.m. tonight. And at 2 a.m., I do think it's going to be isolated activity, and at this point, probably isolated snow showers, cold enough where it's most likely going to be snow. Also, I've got to mention, as the precipitation starts to move in, it's going to get breezy, and I think the winds are going to continue to increase. So let's take a look at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now we're talking about scattered rain and snow showers, though with temperatures mainly low to mid 30s, probably more on the snow side than the rain side. But I do have to mention the chance for both, but probably leaning more towards the snow with temperatures in the mid 30s, but certainly a wet snow. Still breezy at 7 a.m., but I think the peak of the activity is going to be during the late morning and early afternoon. And during this peak, it's going to be windy, gusts 30, 35 miles per hour. And this is where we still have some questions, because exactly how warm is it going to get? Notice how temperatures are trying to increase, but if we stay more in the mid 30s, it's going to be more on the snow side. But upper 30s, I've actually got two different models here. I'm showing you one model showing a warmer scenario, but I've also got another model showing a colder scenario, showing mostly snow at 11 a.m. And that would be the case if it's in the mid 30s. If it's in the upper 30s, like this model with the temperatures is showing, could be more on the rain side. But I do expect a widespread rain-snow mix late morning, early afternoon. But then we still have other questions as we get into the mid-afternoon. Again, how warm do we get? Notice that mid 30s in this model are just to the east of us. And there's some models that say, no, we stay in the mid 30s, even in the Quad Cities. Although there are other models saying that we could get as warm as the low 40s tomorrow. So very tight temperature gradient, also a tight gradient, and exactly how heavy is the precipitation going to be? You know, there's some models that are already breaking up the activity at 3 o'clock, but then there's models like this saying it's still widespread in the mid-afternoon. So widespread, yes, for sure, in the late morning and early afternoon, but mid-afternoon, we might be starting to see some gaps, maybe. I know the uncertainty is frustrating, but just telling it like it is. I do think still on the windy side too in the mid-afternoon. But what all the models are saying is 3 o'clock is kind of the magic threshold. Is it already breaking up at 3 o'clock? That's a possibility, but certainly after 3 o'clock we expect definite improvement. And look how things start to clear out. And I do think by 8 o'clock that'll be the end of the activity, all of it out of here. And once the activity clears us, the winds will die back down. We'll go back to breezy conditions. I think by 8 o'clock we'll be back with those gusts 20, 25 miles per hour. So, because of the uncertainty and how quickly things are going to break up tomorrow afternoon, and the uncertainty in the temperatures, there's quite a bit of uncertainty in exactly how much snow we're going to see. So let's talk about what the possibilities are. Well, let's look just at the Quad Cities right now, Davenport and Moline. Right now the models are ranging from as little as an inch to as much as 3 inches. So if the activity breaks up a little bit faster tomorrow and it's a little bit warmer, we're only talking about an inch in the Quad Cities. But if it stays a little bit colder and the activity doesn't break up as fast, yes, it's still possible we could see as much as 3 inches. Notice north and west of the Quad Cities, the range drops to as little as a dusting, but as much as 2 inches. And then look and east of the Quad Cities, 2 to 4 inches. Kewaunee, as little as 3 inches, but perhaps as much as 5 inches. So, one thing I can tell you is that the models will come into better agreement on this, so look for another update tomorrow morning.